Welcome everyone to Bet What Happens Live. We are at the 2-minute warning of this Thursday night football game between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Currently a blowout. The Las Vegas Raiders lead 35-0. Chargers have the ball at the 2-minute warning here. 2 timeouts left, 4th and 1. So Grant, pretty tough one to bet, I would think. But what are you thinking so far?
This is garbage. This is
I agree.
this is garbage, and Staley's garbage, and everything's garbage. So it's going to be real tough to bet. I mean, it should be normal coach. Maybe like, all right, we can be looking into the overs on a lot of the wide receivers for the Chargers, but I'm not even sure how I feel about that. Like Stick's current passing yard total is sitting at 200.5 at the moment. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not sure how much work Austin Eckler is going to get. I mean, 25.5 would probably be a fairly easy under, and he's getting stuff there, of course. Gosh, this is terrible.
This is one of the worst performances I've seen from a team this year, and that includes last week's 3-0 game between the Vikings and the Raiders.
Yeah. No, this is on pace to be the biggest blowout in decades. Like, we thought the 70-0 loss or 70-20 loss by the Broncos was the worst of the year. Yeah, so this is potentially worse here. No lines are early on the board. All right, now some stuff is coming up. I mean, it's tough to let me look at where everyone's sitting. So Devontae Adams, this is an interesting line here. I know they're probably going to be passing. I know there's or rushing. I know there's probably going to be a just weird game script and potentially Adams sitting, but his live line is sitting at 78.5. There's a chance they end up passing to him on this drive. 78.5 over at FanDuel. Adams receiving yards, he's at 64. Any interest in that one?
Sitting at 64, like you said, and 78.5. Is that right?
Yep, 77.5 now.
64 and 77, 76.5 for Devontae Adams. We have, if I tick this over to the second half, well, yeah, so we have Devontae Adams 70% to go over that number.
All right, well, he just got a 10-yard reception saying at 86.5. I'm hitting it.
Yeah, we're going over 86.5. Devontae Adams receiving yards. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up here because he, just got another catch there, and we're still in the first half. I had already took this over to the second half. So Devontae Adams over 86.5 receiving yards is what we're rolling with.
Real quick, Myers at 28.5. He's currently sitting at 22.
22 versus 28.5. 22. Let me pop this in. 28.5. We're showing 50-50 on that one.
All right. I mean, that's second half. Did the Chargers get the ball first? I can't even remember because I don't have any of this in my brain.
The Chargers started with the ball, so the Raiders are actually going to start with the ball in the second half. Chargers punted right away, and then the Raiders on their first drive scored that touchdown. So Chargers will start with the ball in the second half.
I almost want to hit that Myers just because he could end up getting a reception right here for 6 yards.
Yeah, that's true. If I take it back to the first half and put in...
Yeah, I'm hitting the over 27.5 at FanDuel.
About a minute remaining. So Grant is hitting over 27.5 at FanDuel. Even then, if I change the model to go with that, we're still showing about 50-50. So doesn't really matter, but Grant likes it over 27.5 receiving yards for Michael Meyer, whatever you say it, however you say it. That is the second bet here on Bet What Happens Live. Not Jacoby Myers, Michael Meyer, right? Or Jacoby Myers?
Jacoby.
Not confused. Oh, I had the wrong guy then. I thought you were saying Michael Mayer.
Okay.
That changes things a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we already hit it, but
22. Well, yeah, you already hit it. We're showing plenty of value over there.
All right.
Good. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, I'm with you there.
I was going to say, I
was thinking Michael Mayer and forgot about Jacoby Myers. Too many Mayers and Myers and all that stuff. So, all right, we're good there. All right.
Now I'm looking at The big stick over 163.5 passing yards, currently sitting at 75. I mean, there's no reason for them to bench him.
No, none.
Like,
They're not benching
yeah,
him for anything.
I don't even know who's the backup to him. I can't even remember.
I don't even know, honestly. At
I'm
this
looking it
point, it
up. Don't
doesn't
worry.
matter though. So there's 46 seconds left. But they're not going to get the ball until the second half. So I'm just going to pop it over to second half on him and see what the model says. Model's projecting him at 200 in the second half. Now they won't start with the ball, so we got to mentally adjust that down, but still over 175. I think you said it was somewhere around there.
It was, yeah, it was a little, I think it was 168, but now it's moving 172 over at Tipico. I don't know if we can go that 175, I believe, over at Caesar. So we'll roll with that over.
Yeah, 175.5 at Caesars. We are showing 64% to the over there. So
174.5 at FanDuel now is up. So same thing.
Yeah, 174.5, 175.5. It's just a fraction of a percentage point for that 1 yard. Now, we would mentally adjust that down a little bit because they're not starting with the ball. But even then, we're talking 60% to the over here for Easton Stick over 175.5. If you can get 174.5 by the time you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, give that thumbs up. That is what we would recommend at FanDuel as well for Easton Stick over 174.5 passing yards.
Yeah, another interesting one, Gerald Everett, 53.5 receiving yards. He's currently sitting at 35. He seems to be the safety blanket here so far for Stick. I mean, it's not surprising. We get that pretty often with tight ends, with quarterbacks making their first start. Everett just being used a lot. Wish I would have been on that earlier, but it's currently sitting at 35, but 6 targets. Like, the volume's going to him. They'll design plays with him. They've shown they'll always design plays to him. Yeah.
What's the live line there that you're looking at?
It's at 53.5.
53.5 for Gerald Everett. We're showing to the percentage point, to the 10th of a percentage point, 50-50.
All right, we'll stay away from that one.
Yeah, I think that's one we could revisit at halftime. Well, actually, I mean, I already did take it over to the second half. So actually, no, that's perfectly 50-50 there.
Okay, yeah, we'll stay away. Interesting one. If you have Fanatics in your state, 25.5 receiving yards for Eckler over at Fanatics, minus 140 juice on the under, but 14.5 over at FanDuel. Nice little middle there. I would actually probably take advantage of that. Short throws generally with Eckler. He still should get some volume, but not a huge amount. They've shown they're going to run with the other guys in early downs, but they'll scheme some stuff to Eckler in the second half. I'm sure there'll be some adjustments because they don't want to go down as one of the worst losses in NFL history. And of course, that's not Myers or Adams, but
so 1 receiving yard for Austin Eckler as the Raiders score a touchdown. That's what we were kind of hesitating there and pausing on. But we're showing 60% to the under, actually, on Austin Eckler, under 25.5. And then you said 14.5 was the other one?
Yeah.
So 14.5. We're showing 65% to the over. So I love that middle. So remind everybody where those books are.
Yeah, it's nice Fanatics and FanDuel, but honestly, I don't even hate the over on FanDuel 14.5. I mean, they have to get involved.
Yeah, so over 14.5 receiving yards for Austin Eckler at FanDuel. If you have Fanatics, you can go for a nice middle at under 25.5 receiving yards on Austin Eckler. We're showing value on both of those. That's a nice 10-yard middle there. Everything from 15 to 25 yards would win you both bets. So 42-0 for the Las Vegas Raiders. Aiden O'Connell, 4 touchdown passes, and then a rushing touchdown for Zamir White, a rushing touchdown for Brandon Bolden. The over hits in the first half. If you were watching Action Island, we took over 35.5. We already hit the over for the second Thursday night football game in a row in the first half.
Easton Stick sitting at 148.5 passing yards now. It just seems silly.
That seems ridiculous. Like they're not benching him. I don't care what people say. They're not benching him. I can put this at 99.99% win probability for Las Vegas, 42 points ahead, second half, all that stuff. And it's showing the Chargers are actually not going to throw any more or less than expected when it gets that big of a blowout. The model actually adjusts for the fact that there's no point in passing way more than expectation. But even then, Ethan's stick is, if you just expect a normal pass to rush ratio, we're projecting 193.5 passing yards.
Yeah, and FanDuel realized they're wrong because they took it down. That was just an awful line.
Oh, it's a terrible line. If that comes back up, we're gonna have to hit it. But
oh, I'm watching like a hawk.
Like a hawk. I love it. I love it. We're not even at halftime yet. We've already got a bunch of bets. And honestly, the way this game is going 42-0, I don't think we need to go crazy on bets here. We might want to look at some anytime touchdowns. I think somebody like a Spiller in the second half for the Chargers could be interesting because while I still like that Eckler over 14.5, Spiller has been spelling Austin Eckler on a lot of the rushing downs. So I could see something like a second half touchdown for Isaiah Spiller. I almost want to say CJ Spiller. They're not related, but he does wear number 28 like CJ Spiller used to do.
Yeah, and Chargers just decided to run out the clock.
There we go. So that is going to do it for the first half. 42-0. Who saw this coming? Nobody. I don't think anybody expected 42-0. But
I don't think there's been a single game I've ever watched where I expected 42-0. It's a wild one.
I mean, unless you're talking college football and it's a top tier team versus scrubs, but not in the NFL. Nobody ever expects 42-0. But this is an absolute embarrassment. So, just to kind of recap here, we've got a few bets in. We got a middle potential on Austin Eckler if you were able to grab under 25.5 receiving yards at FanDuel, at Fanatics, over 14.5 at FanDuel. We're looking at over on Jacoby Myers, 27.5 receiving yards. We're looking at over on, who was the other player we were there? Was
Myers, Adams. We had the over on Stick. We had the middle on Eckler, and I think that was it.
So the over on Stick's passing yards earlier, and then it dropped even further. And then we had over on Devontae Adams. That's what it was.
On this. I want to see what the model has to say. Adams plus 1,700 anytime touchdown.
Devontae Adams plus 1,700. We have 6-1.
Well, I mean, I feel like we got to hit that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Raiders, they can stop throwing if they wanted, but they still probably want to get Aiden O'Connell some work, and Aiden O'Connell has eyes for Devontae Adams. The question is, do they pull him early? So obviously, I think the plus 600 is not very fair from what our model is showing. But even if you double that to 12-1, you're getting massive value on Devontae Adams anytime touchdown. So Devontae Adams, anytime touchdown, 17-1 is just a tenth of a unit, right? I mean, it's just.
I was thinking quarter unit.
Quarter unit? Yeah. Let's do it. We're showing enough value. Let's do a quarter unit on Devontae Adams, anytime touchdown at 17-1. I love it. I think it's great. I don't see any reason why they would just suddenly completely stop throwing. I mean, you have Aiden O'Connell. You've got a young quarterback, rookie quarterback who is still learning, still developing. You don't just shut him down just to run the ball. You've already won the game. Running the ball out for the rest of the game isn't going to matter. So get him some work. Throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not making the playoffs. It's a head coach that's going to try and just keep his job, maybe get a head coaching job out of this. This is a nice thing on a resume. Like, hey, I had one of the biggest. Yeah. I mean, and the Raiders, they spent so much money on everything. Like that stadium, they're still paying head coaches that aren't coaching for them like $20 million a year. So they want to give their fans something to hold their head on. So
yeah. So people are asking in chat what book FanDuel has this at 17-1.
FanDuel, yeah. FanDuel is so far off of everyone else right now. MGM has it at +5. MGM just moved it plus 1,600. That's interesting.
Yeah. So if you have bet MGM, 16-1. FanDuel 17-1 for second half touchdown. I'm gonna real quick pop in on Bet365 because we know we like theirs, and just see what we got here for second half anytime touchdown score. I don't even see at oh there he is. He's at plus 375 there. So don't do that one. Take the 17-1 if you got that at FanDuel. But that reminds
This is
me,
why line
Bet365 may
shopping
have
is
some,
important.
yeah, Bet365 may have some interesting options on some other players. For example, right, so we're looking at touchdown scores at FanDuel. Isaiah Spiller, 5-1. I don't love that, but my point is if you go over to Bet365, they have him 11-1. So I think in a game where we're getting completely out of control, the spread is so far apart. I'm not even relying on my model. Isaiah Spiller, we've already seen replace Austin Eckler on a lot of carries. He has 5 carries to Austin Eckler's 4. If the Chargers get in scoring position, why not give the second year back a shot? Give the fourth round pick from last year a shot at getting a touchdown. So Isaiah Spiller, I'm going to take 11-1 for a second half touchdown at specifically Bet365 because that's 11-1 there. Whereas FanDuel, they're literally making him the player that is most likely to score a touchdown the rest of this game at 5-1. So why not take 11-1 at Bet365?
Yeah, 12-1 over at Fanatics, but I know that's not in a ton
Yeah,
of
if you have
states.
Fanatics 12-1, definitely like that. So I'm going to roll Isaiah Spiller. And I was actually eyeing this pregame, but especially given the situation we have with a 42-point blowout, Isaiah Spiller, second half touchdown at Bet365, 12-1, or at Fanatics, or 11-1 at Bet365.
Yeah, looking at other ones, Eckler sitting at 850 for anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to show value on that because,
Yeah.
it's Austin Eckler. But again, it's like, are they going to play him the rest of the game? So, right. So we're showing 3-1.
Ooh, 34-1 on the big stick anytime touchdown.
Ethan Stick 34-1
Yeah.
at FanDuel. Yeah, I see that. 34-1 at FanDuel. 6-1 at Bet365. I think we got to bet 34-1, right? He
We'll take
hasn't
that for a
run.
quarter. I'm not even
Yeah,
doing 0.1 units. I'm doing a
quarter
quarter
unit on that.
on that. That's
34-1 at
absolutely
FanDuel. Easton
silly.
Stick anytime touchdown. You got to do that. Like, we loved him at 7-1 pregame. Earlier in the week, people got 11-1. But Easton Stick has not run the ball as much as expected. But why not? Why not just let him
You
go
also
crazy?
remember too, like they haven't run that many plays.
Right.
Like they have not. They keep turning the ball over. Like Stick's not playing too bad. It's just the amount of plays, just aren't there. So you can't really expect him. Yeah, FanDuel let me get enough to win $2,000 on there, so I'm happy about that. Stick
Yeah.
bet. All right, I actually bet him beforehand too. Wrote that
Yeah.
up, but I liked it at plus 800. Now I really like it at plus 3,400 because let the guy get some confidence going into the last few weeks of the season.
Yep. I agree. So Easton Stick 34-1 on his anytime touchdown bet. I was just clicking over to see if there was anything on interceptions. I am sad to report interception props are down for both quarterbacks. It's too bad.
Yeah. I'm looking at other ones. Joshua Kelly, touchdown prop, currently sitting at 25-1 over on FanDuel. I don't know what FanDuel is on right now, but it's kind of silly.
It is silly. Here's another one that I'm looking at. I just need to actually type this into my spreadsheet because this is an unusual one. So you should give me a moment. No, we're not showing value on that. I was looking at Easton Stick, 2+ passing touchdowns at plus 750, but we're not showing value on that. We are showing, just give me one more second. I just need to put an equals sign in there. We're showing plus 775 and it's plus 750 at FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it other places.
I do think 2+ touchdown pass is interesting, right? I mean, the
So
Raiders
point
could
five
start
is
the
sitting at, yeah, 0.5 is sitting at minus 105 on the over.
Yeah, that's pretty much in line with what we have as well. I was looking at 2+ simply because the Raiders, they could just start benching defenders as well. Like we're so out of hand here. We're in a territory where it's like you may as well take a few flyers on some long shot bets because these teams are going to start getting creative with things that they're doing as we are about to start the second half here. So if you could find anything longer than plus 775 on Easton Stick 2+ passing touchdowns, I would do that. But I don't think I was able to find it here before halftime is starting. So, Grant, looks like everything came off the board at Bet365. It looks like we're about to start halftime here.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, we've got plenty of,
We
way more
do.
bets than I thought we would get.
The 34-1 Easton Stick touchdown is ridiculous. So hopefully that one hits. 17-1 Devontae Adams. We got 11-1 on Spiller. All we need to do is hit one of those, and we're golden. So those are our bets for this Thursday night football game between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Pretty gross one here, 42-0. But we don't want to get too carried away because there's a lot of uncertainty in this one with how players will sub out and things like that. Will there be backups that come in? What will each team's game plan be? So we're going to call it there for this Bet What Happens Live, but we'll be back on Monday Night Football for more Bet What Happens Live. Good luck with your bets, everyone, and we'll see you then.
Very good.